Hi, this is Shauna, your sewing Sherpa at Needles and Knots, and I'm going to spend a couple minutes here talking about your sewing kit. So if you're like me, things tend to spread around, and if you want to sit down to sew, you don't want to have to get up every 2 minutes and go find your scissors over there, your nippers over there, your pins over there. You want to keep it all together. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a basket. I like tackle boxes are great, or tool boxes are great for keeping stuff together, but most everybody's got a basket. First thing you want to have in your sewing kit would be a good pair of sharp shears. If you want to keep your shears sharp, make sure every once in a while get a little grease off your neck, run it down your shears or off your nose, or if you want to, you can put a little bit of oil on your fingers and do the same thing, but you've always got your neck around. Rub behind here, and if you do that before you cut, your shears will stay sharp. All right, you want to have a variety of needles. Of course, you can get needles in all sorts of varieties, you know, upholstery needles, ballpoint needles, beading needles, but I like to keep a magnetic bowl for my needles, and what you're going to use most of the time are called sharps. Sharps are used with your all-purpose thread, and they come in different lengths and stuff, but the sharps have the eye of the needle is just large enough to fit this type of thread in it. So you're going to want to have some of those, and if you're into embroidery, you might want to have some Cruel needles. Anyways, you'll start collecting them and you'll understand why you have different sizes, because it's important. So you want to have all-purpose thread, either for hand sewing or for machine sewing. All-purpose thread is usually polyester, contrary to popular belief, and it's actually much easier to sew with than cotton thread. You can buy all cotton or cotton poly blend, but all-purpose is usually polyester. You want to have a measuring tape in your toolkit. You want to have a seam gauge in your toolkit. I like to keep a pencil, because you're always like making a spot where you want to put the button on, or marking where you want to stop or something. It's good to have a pencil in your toolkit. Seam ripper is super fundamental. There's all sorts of, you can spend as much as you want on these, but this little buddy is going to be your best friend. Make sure when you seam rip that you're not just sitting, you know, bent over. Make sure you're sitting in a nice comfortable chair with plenty of light, and make seam ripping a good time to take a break from sewing, because it happens. And in your kit, of course, you're going to want to have pins. I like using the magnetic pin parts bowls. You can find at automotive stores to keep my pins in, because their magnets are usually a lot stronger than the pin bowls you find at the like sewing stores, because they think that we don't need strong magnets for our pins, but we do. And then you're going to want to have something that writes on fabric. I use a pencil, you know, but you can also get what we call tailor's chalk or tailor's wax. This one's a tailor's wax, and it's got a nice sharp edge here, and it draws a good clean line. If you're trying, you know, tracing around something, it goes really smoothly across the fabric. Those are some basics that you're going to want to have in your toolkit, as well as nippers. And for some reason, I don't have nippers around me, but nippers are just really short. Wait, don't go in there. I can clip this out, and I can clip me back in. Where the hell are the nippers? There we go. That was a total fail. All right, nippers. Okay, I'm back. All right, nippers. These are really great to have around, or snips. People call them snips too. But it's like when you're at the sewing machine, you don't want to have to pick up your shears, put your hands in, open it up, and then cut your thread off. That's just like slow. These can sit right next to your machine. You pick them up really quick. They fit in the palm of your hand. You can get real precise. They come in all sorts of styles and types. And if you want to know what I like, I have a handout for the class, and I list the nippers that I like. These are also kind of good to add scissors. They have the same size eye, but this is kind of like in between the snips and the shears. So if you're doing some like bigger projects, it's good to have these around too. And that is a good start for a sewing kit.